Mirella Ramos grew up in South Central LA, where the noise of helicopters and cars constantly filled the air around their home. Nature felt like a luxury. Parks were few and far between, much less an open space or preserve to explore. Their parents from El Salvador, though, brought in guayaba trees, banana trees, and other plants from their home country to fill their yard, attracting critters that awed Mirella. They were able to enjoy the little patch of green in their yard as a refuge, and the only one on the block. But throughout school, Mirella didn't believe that science was for people like them, for people from low-income and immigrant families. But they didn't let themselves believe that they were able to perform a life of service. The college that they went to, Sam Houston University, had a statue in the middle of campus. I've never been to campus, so I'm not sure exactly where it is. And on the statue, it said, "The measure of life that one lives is it's in the service that they provide." And while school didn't have many field trips to green spaces, or they didn't have mentors or people to encourage them that STEM was something they could do, it wasn't until after college when Mirella rediscovered their fascination with nature on hikes from Texas to LA. And with Mirella's reinvigorated love for nature, they joined the California Conservation Corps as a backcountry crew member. Carrying a heavy pack without much of the proper backpacking gear, they often found themselves at the back of the crew. But they found a sense of connection to nature and the people around them. There were people in the Corps who also felt like misfits too, but wanted to perform a life of service. And as they continued to work on trails for the U.S. Forest Service and National Park Service, they noticed something in particular. They rarely saw people of color like them in positions of leadership or even just hiking along trails. But they did meet young high school kids in camps and outdoor programs and were awed by their sense of enthusiasm and curiosity. In these kids, Mirella found a way to change this trend. So they joined the Sonoma Land Trust 5 years ago in an effort to reach more young people from diverse and low-income communities, using their own El Salvadorian background to help students cultivate their connection with nature. They work in the details to make sure everyone feels included, from turning on Spanish music in car rides to passing out Latin American snacks. As a bilingual youth project manager for the trust, they create inclusive programs and provide translation so that Spanish-speaking students can feel at home too. They have been teaching wetland ecology to 3rd and 4th graders through the Land Trust's field trip program and the Conservation Council, a yearly cohort of 26 high school students who conduct soil and wildlife research. The students who have participated visit preserves across Sonoma County to watch birds, identify forest species, collect soil samples, read scientific papers, and are able to write their own too. There is a new generation of more diverse scientists, researchers, and nature writers, and Mirella is leading the way to help create that. I'm pleased to present the Environmental Educator Award to Mirella Ramos.
I'm gonna caution you, I'm a chillona, which means I'm a crier. Oh, don't look at me. It is such an honor to be here with all of you today. And I have to say that younger me never would have imagined this. Never thought that I'd be a conservationist or a youth development professional. I'm trying to fight away the tears, hold on. I didn't know that most of my story would be told, but I have pictures to go along with the story. So I want to start off with having y'all think. At some point in your life, you probably wanted to hear the words, I see you. I got you. And I'm here to help. I know I definitely have. Sorry if you get contact crying. And so the story of my alma mater, Sam Houston State University, I didn't really think that I'd be in Texas. As a high school student, much less college student, I thought I'd be in LA most of my life. But moving to Texas gave my family a really big opportunity to be able to spend more time outdoors, have a bigger backyard, and be around foliage. And so I ended up at Sam Houston State University, passing by our courtyard with a signage, the measure of a life is its service. And I kept seeing this at some of the darkest times in my life. I can't see my siblings. They're up there, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, you know. I've also been the biggest challenge for my parents. Sorry. Because I did things that I took on challenges that I don't think they wanted me to. But they moved to the US out of El Salvador for a future, not just for them, but for their children. A future that did not include being scared to walk outdoors. And as I talked more with my parents and I wondered why were they so scared when I'd go out backpacking by myself? I mean, it can be scary, I guess, but to me, it sounded really cool. I'd still do it from time to time. But I learned from them that they were scared because in our beautiful jungles in El Salvador, you disappeared and you didn't come back. So they invested in me and my siblings, left everything they knew, our ancestral lands filled with wonderful volcanoes, tropical fruits, and of course, ever-abundant waters, including my favorite, thermal, hot springs. But this is my neighborhood. This is where they raised me. And my dad, he grew up in the countryside of El Salvador, farming with his dad, and has a deep love for plants and animals. My mom says I get it from him. And my mom is also a self-proclaimed city girl. But she astounds me at how many plants she knows. And the knowledge, the wisdom that my great-grandmother shared with her about the plants so that she knew how to put tobacco on a bee sting to make it stop hurting. And the yerba buena that we'd put in tea and in our food that always helped us feel better when we were sick. So they made so many changes for us. And for our future generations within my family. Up there I have one of my grandmothers, my dad's mom, and some of my siblings. I am the third in 7 kids. And out of us right now are 5 that are living. And I think about all the moments that we've had together, being able to be outside as kids. No, the great open spaces weren't close to us, but my parents, they sure as hell, can I say hell? Yeah. They sure as hell tried their damnedest. I'm pushing it, and my mom's probably laughing up there. They tried their damnedest to get us outdoors. And I think one misconception that people often have about Latinos and what I've heard in conservation movement, or while working in conservation movement, has been, I really wish that Latinos had a connection with nature. I really wish that they would spend more time outside, that they would go hiking and backpacking. And little do you know, we're raised with a connection. It's in our genes, it's in our blood, and our parents pass it on. So before I knew what Leave No Trace was, my mom taught me to always have a bag to pick up the trash wherever we were at a park, whether it was Parque de las Rosas or a Parque de los Patos. And if you're Latino, you probably have one of these in your neighborhood too. They're very common names. I do not know the names of these parks, like their actual names, but forever they will be Los Parques de las Rosas y el Parque de los Patos. But this is, I think I was 5, and my first time in snow. And I was mesmerized. My dad and one of my tios would get together and plan these trips for us. And despite it being cold outside and snow on the ground, what did we do? We packed vainilla and milk and sugar, and we made raspados. It's still never too cold for me to have frozen treats. Yeah. So for my colleagues that know me, they haven't seen me bald. And I don't think they've seen me with a pack this big before. But this was my introduction into backpacking and camping, and I had no idea what I was doing. It was through the Backcountry Trails program and the mentorship I received there and the support I received there that made me surpass my own limitations that I put upon myself, whether it was my mental or physical limitations. I still love using crosscuts. Ooh, you can make them sing if you have the right partner. It turns out finding the right partner in everything that you do is important. And so there too, I found community. And I climbed some of the highest mountains that I could because I told myself, why not? Why not? And that's because my crew lead told me, you could do whatever you want. You're the little one. It's okay. You'll make it. See, it was through the power of mentorship and everything that I've done that has gotten me to climb these high mountains, whether they were emotional, physical, because I've actually went up this mountain here in the Trinity Alps. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Or living in the woods for 6 months and cooking for a bunch of hungry trail workers and throwing random parties when I could for them. Learning how to take care of mules and how to ride them and how to pack in the desert. Turns out the Sonoran Desert can be brutal sometimes. Or, of course, our lovely Bay Area, where its coastline continues to astound me. You see, through the guidance and the support that I've received, I've been able to become a different Mirella. I literally spent hours looking at these dragonflies molt. But like them, I removed the shell of myself with every challenge I took, allowing myself to find a new opportunity to find a new me, to make a difference, because I continued to think about what is the measure of my life. It is service. And so, yes, my service began when I was doing youth programs over at Saguaro National Park, and maybe even before then. But with my family, it was inviting my youngest brother to a youth crew that I was leading. He had never been backpacking before or camping. And I said, "Come on out, what else are you doing this summer?" Well, then he ended up camping, and he was supposed to stay with me 2 weeks, and 2 weeks turned into 4 weeks. And this little man, I'm still calling you little man. He's almost 21, and I helped raise him from baby. But when he's asked why he's gotten into the degree field that he's studying, he points to this moment, a moment of inspiration, of change, of mentorship. He's currently studying electrical engineering in renewable energies and sustainability. I'm honestly super proud of all of my siblings, because every time I challenge them, they say, "Okay." Reluctantly, but we've gone to beautiful places, and they'll sit in the back of trucks with me because they love it, because I love it. In El Salvador, of course, where it's legal. And my family continues to grow from those my parents birthed to my partner, now fiance, and my parents-in-laws that are here, and all the adopted children that my parents take on because they go on family vacations with us too. And my family continues to grow. At Sonoma Land Trust, I've been able to grow a sense of belonging. See, DEI is not enough. And as a person of color, I don't want to think that I've been hired, as the term is, a DEI hire. And so when I walked in to a white-collar office for the very first time, scary and daunting, and luckily, I had a supervisor that took everything on with an approach of mentorship with me. And when I was going through imposter syndrome multiple times, it's been 5 years, and I'm sorry I still cry in your office, Neil. But because it never goes away, because we don't always feel like we're worthy enough, or because it's so different, and sometimes we don't have that sense that we do fit in, because in most of life, we've all, at some point, wanted to fit in. But with the kids that I get to spend time with, I get to help them blow past their own limitations that they put on themselves through the beliefs that are passed on to them about not being enough and about not being able to read, whatever it may be. And I get to share with them special moments that help them see themselves in nature, whether it's journaling outdoors or setting up wildlife cameras. So my supervisor pushed me when I first started at the Land Trust. I'm not a science person, never thought I would be. Here I was trying to teach students how to conduct research with wildlife cameras. But he helped me build my confidence, which then helped me build the confidence of students. And with them, yes, I was learning a lot at first. But I still learn from them and my direct report, Kylie, and whoever comes across my path, because I forever will be a student. And so this used to scare me, But I love it now. You should see me with spreadsheets, my God. And running around outside, taking a break from the heavy mental work to get the healing that nature provides us. The benefit of nature that should be equitable, that everyone should be able to have. And because people have invested in me, I choose to be of service to others and invest in them. I keep a mentoring mindset that I am not the best, that I don't know everything, and that I'm gonna learn from you just as much as you're gonna learn from me. And that it's okay not to have the answers to everything, and it's okay to cry, and it's okay to also be scared. Keep the curiosity, keep the humility, and support one another. Give compassion. Because when you're giving compassion and you're supporting each other, guess what? You're more likely going to keep your staff. You're more likely going to have better relationships when you're actually investing in people and doing it for them. And so I'm asking you all today to consider, who have you invested in and who has invested in you? Be that catalyst for change. Because once you start investing in others and show that you care and show that you have compassion, guess what? You'll be inspiring more to do so. And in my short life, because I'm only 32, I've learned that I am happiest when I am in service of others. When I give my time to others to see them grow and put their needs into perspective. And so you will find that when you're supporting your community, the people around you, you will be happy, you'll find a purpose, and you'll be able to have a measurement in your life that is meaningful to you. Get that sense of fulfillment like I do when I look at students in their moments of awe as, yes, they've seen what this data is telling them now, or when they find out that, yes, they can also be able to touch beautiful animals while we're out tide pooling, especially the anemones that squirt, the aggregated anemones. Take those moments. Remember to be of service and don't take yourself so seriously. Here's my last picture, and Gina, I hope you love this. Thank you.